Inspired by Luke 15:11, the sun rose over the golden fields, and the breeze carried the scent of the harvest. On top of a hill stood a large house surrounded by vineyards and olive trees. There lived a kind man, known for his wisdom and generosity. He had 2 sons, the older one steady and hard-working, and the younger curious and restless, with eyes that dreamed of the world beyond the horizon. The father loved them both deeply. Every day he walked the fields with them, teaching them how to sow, how to care for the animals, and most of all how to thank God for every sunrise. But in the heart of the younger son, something began to stir. A whisper told him there was more beyond those mountains, more adventure, more life, more freedom. One evening, as the sky turned orange with the setting sun, the young man approached his father. His voice trembled slightly, but his words were firm. "Father, I want to go. I want to see the world for myself. Please give me the share of the inheritance that belongs to me." The father looked at him in silence. He didn't argue, he didn't try to hold him back. With tears he didn't show, he divided what he owned and handed his son the portion that was his. Then he embraced him, knowing in his heart it might be the last embrace for a long time. The young man walked away without looking back. His steps echoed with excitement, and in his mind, the world was full of promise. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into months. The young man discovered cities full of lights, music, laughter, and new friends. He spent without thinking, lived without limits, and for a while he believed he'd found happiness. But the glow began to fade. His money ran out, and so did his friends. He soon found himself alone and hungry. He searched for work and ended up feeding pigs in a stranger's field. He spent his days under the burning sun, his clothes torn, his body tired, and his soul empty. One day, as he watched the animals eat, he looked at them with sorrow, and for the first time in a long while, he thought of home. He thought of his father. He thought of the smell of warm bread coming from the oven each morning. Tears ran down his face, and in a trembling whisper he said, "In my father's house, even the servants have more than enough to eat. I will get up and go to my father, and I will say, 'Father, I have sinned against heaven and against you. I am no longer worthy to be called your son.'" The road home was long. Each step was a mix of fear and hope. His head was bowed, his clothes worn out, but his heart felt lighter than ever. Meanwhile, back home, the father kept waiting. Every afternoon he stood at the edge of the field, his eyes fixed on the distant roads. He never stopped believing his son would return one day, and one morning as the sun rose over the hills he saw him, far away, a figure walking slowly up the path. The father's heart leapt. Without thinking, he dropped everything and ran down the dusty road. When he reached his son, he threw his arms around him. No questions, no reproach, just tears, forgiveness and love. The son tried to speak between sobs. "Father, I have sinned. I'm not worthy." But the father interrupted him gently. "Hush, my son," he said tenderly. "You're home. That's all that matters now." He called for the best robe, a ring and new sandals. Then he ordered a great celebration, because what was lost had been found. While music and laughter filled the house, the older brother returned from the fields. Hearing the sound of the celebration, he asked what was happening. When he learned his brother had come back, his face darkened. The father went out to find him and asked him to come in, but the older brother said angrily, "I've been with you all this time, working hard and obeying you, and you never threw a party for me." The father looked at him patiently and said, "My son, you are always with me, and everything I have is yours. But we had to celebrate, because your brother was dead, and now he's alive again." The older son looked down, silent, but his eyes filled with tears, for he realized that his father's love was greater than fairness, deeper than pain, and purer than any reward. The celebration went on as the sun sank behind the hills. The young man, now clean and dressed, sat beside his father, watching the fire dance. The father placed his hand on his son's shoulder and said softly, "Never forget, my son, no matter how far you wander, there will always be a road back home, because God's love never gets tired of waiting." And that night, beneath the stars, the home was whole again. Forgiveness had won. Love had triumphed. No matter what you've done, no matter how far you've gone, the Father is still watching the horizon, waiting for you to come home.